Over the past week, I locked myself in a room and spent over 48 hours going through hundreds of altcoins, researching, comparing, and filtering until no stone was left unturned. And today, I've narrowed it down to the top 10. Look, we all know that these last couple of months have been rough for crypto. Sentiment is low, altcoins have been bleeding, and most investors have checked out. There were brutal liquidations that wiped out portfolios, and with them, the spirit of countless investors. The same people who were celebrating gains just months ago are now stepping away, burned out, defeated, and questioning if they ever want to touch crypto again. This market doesn't just test your strategy, it tests your mind, your patience, and your belief in your own decisions. This is why I decided to take a second look at my altcoin holdings to make sure I'm in the best altcoins for the upcoming bull run. Look, I would be lying if I said that it doesn't affect me at times either. I'm heavily invested in crypto, and there are times that even my confidence and belief gets tested. I show up every day and get on this roller coaster called crypto, and sometimes I just feel like it would be easier to get off the ride and just wait for a bear market to reposition. Crypto does have its way of pushing you to the edge and seeing if you'll break, especially recently when headlines are creating panic. Talks around housing ideas like a 50-year mortgage, global economic friction, and uncertainty around the Fed monetary policy. Literally, fear is being served to us daily, wrapped in urgency, disguised as truth. And most of all, the cycle is deviating from the previous 4-year cycles, and it's acting very strange. Even good news headlines are causing the opposite reaction in the market. But here is where I decide that I won't let this opportunity pass me by. The market does reward the ones who hold their conviction when everyone else walks away. The real gains are captured long after the quitters have left the arena. But this is the part of the cycle where fortunes are positioned before that liquidity returns. Now, as altcoins approach their bottom, I wanted to make sure that I'm not just guessing, but that I'm strategically prepared for when things send. Not all altcoins are created equal, so I judged every altcoin on this list against certain metrics. Now, I won't bore you with every single micro detail of how I landed on these top altcoins, but here is the criteria that I used to decide if an altcoin was qualified to land on this list. First, we have utility. I asked myself, does the project actually solve a real problem or offer real value? Then I looked at the team and the roadmap. I checked who's behind the project, what they've built before. A transparent team that shares its updates and hits milestones is a good sign. Then I looked at the tokenomics by looking at the token supply and how it's distributed. If the team or early investors hold too much, they can dump on the market. I also check for things like burns or mechanisms that affect supply. Then I take a look at the community. A strong, active community usually means real interest and growth. Now for this, I checked X and Reddit. Then we have market cap and liquidity. The bigger market caps are more stable. The smaller ones grow faster but carry more risk. And finally, I looked at regulation. Crypto regulations are still changing, so I check if the project has any legal issues or risks that could affect its future. Now, before we dive in, remember, no matter how much research I do, none of this is financial advice. I'm sharing my personal findings and convictions. Always do your own research. My goal here is simple: to give you new altcoins to consider or validation on the ones you already hold. And hey, this video took a ton of work to put together. So if you find value here, do me a solid and hit the like button. It really does help me a lot more than you know, and it tells the algorithm that you enjoy content like this. Make sure to watch all the way through, because by the end of this video, you'll know which altcoins could have the potential for the greatest wealth building opportunity of your life. Before we dive into the list of altcoins I've landed on, let me make something super clear. There are a few coins I already hold, ones I've talked about in past videos that I won't be covering here. This video isn't about those usual suspects. It's about the ones that caught my attention after going through hundreds of crypto projects. The ones that truly stood out to me that could be worth investing in. These coins, which I already hold but won't be focusing on in today's video, are Ethereum, Solana, Link, Cardano, XRP, BNB, and XMR, or Monero. But speaking on Monero, that brings me to the first altcoin on this list. Lately, I've noticed something super interesting happening. Privacy coins are starting to pump, and it makes sense. As governments tighten regulations, ramp up blockchain surveillance, and push towards CBDCs, the demand for true financial privacy is only going to grow. People will start looking for ways to move money without being watched, and that's exactly where privacy coins come in. Most crypto, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, are completely transparent. Anyone can see your wallet, your balance, and every transaction you make. Privacy privacy coins will fix this by giving you the same level of privacy you already expect with cash or your bank account. So this brings me to Zcash, which is an altcoin built for privacy. It lets you send and receive crypto, but with the option to keep your transactions completely anonymous. This is similar to Monero, which I hold. The main difference between Zcash and Monero is how they handle privacy. Zcash lets you choose if you want your transactions to be public or private using its special technology. Monero, or XMR, keeps all the transactions private automatically. Zcash uses special cryptography method called zero-knowledge proofs. It lets you prove a transaction is valid without revealing any details about it. And you can choose between transparent or shielded mode, so you can control how private you want your transactions to be. And speaking of Zcash, they just integrated with the next altcoin, which is Near Protocol. By integrating Zcash's privacy tech into Near's intent system, you can swap assets across different blockchains while staying fully private. Now, I talked about Near in past videos. It's a blockchain built for speed, scalability, and an easy app development. Think of it as a faster, cheaper alternative to Ethereum. It uses sharding, which basically splits the network into smaller pieces so it can process tons of transactions at the same time without slowing down. It's really developer friendly, and the users don't need to deal with complicated crypto steps to interact with apps. Near is quickly becoming one of the go-to blockchains for AI-powered apps and scalable Web3 applications. If AI and crypto continue to grow, Near could be a good bet. For the next altcoin, if you've been watching the market, while altcoins have been bleeding, one of these altcoins have been pumping, and that's ICP. Over this 48-hour deep dive into altcoins, I keep coming back to Internet Computer because their team is one of the most transparent and organized in crypto. ICP isn't just another altcoin, it's built to run a decentralized internet. That means the developers can create websites and apps and even full services directly on the blockchain, and no traditional servers or cloud is needed. It tackles centralization. It gives more control to users and developers, and it could cut costs for running apps at scale. So it actually solves a real world problem, and the team backs it up. They're open about updates and milestones, and they've rolled out key features like canister smart contracts and internet identity, moving step by step towards their vision of a fully blockchain powered internet. So I would definitely look into Internet Computer. Now, this next altcoin is an OG, but I didn't hold any until now, and that's Litecoin. This isn't some dino coin. Litecoin is often called digital silver because it's like Bitcoin's faster, more practical cousin. While Bitcoin is scarce and seen as digital gold, holding value over time, Litecoin is more abundant and built for speed. Transactions confirm faster, making it easier for day to day. Its lighter mining system and quicker confirmation means it's more accessible, just like silver has historically been, and easier to trade than gold. I look at it like this. In the crypto world, if Bitcoin is the treasure that you save, Litecoin is the coin you actually spend. Digital silver. I know it's been around for a while, but during my research, I came to realize that I want Litecoin in my portfolio, and I'm going to continue to add to my position. I also update all my members in my free Discord. You can access that in the link below. Those who get in early have access to everything moving forward. It's a way to thank those who join while the Discord is small. Next, we have Hype. The Hype token is native cryptocurrency to Hyperliquid, which specializes in perpetual futures trading. I use Hyperliquid all the time for trading, and I'm betting on the future adoption of that as well. What I really like is that a significant portion, like 97% of the protocol's fee revenue, is used to fund Hype's token buybacks, which are then burned, creating a deflationary pressure and potentially increasing that token's value over time. So I've been invested in Hype, but now I'm also looking into Aster. Aster is BNB's version of Hyperliquid, a perpetual exchange but with one big difference. You can deposit from multiple chains. To be honest, as of right now, Hyperliquid's interface is much smoother and more polished than Aster's, and they also have more liquidity. But when you look at market caps, Hyperliquid is sitting at 13.5 billion, while Aster is only at 2 billion. That gap tells me that there's a lot more potential upside with Aster. Now, I'm not saying it will surpass Hyperliquid, but in a crypto bull run, you can realistically see a 4x return. On top of that, CZ from Binance is backing Aster and wants it to succeed. That kind of support is huge in crypto. It adds credibility, and Binance has unlimited money to put into Aster. For me, that combination of multi-chain utility, lower market cap, and a strong backing makes Aster a token worth looking into. So I think Binance is coming to take some of that market share from Hyperliquid. Now, just like Aster, I'm betting on Pump. Meme coins are a huge revenue generator in crypto, and it brings in a lot of liquidity from retail. And since I'm betting on memes to run this cycle, I think Pump is perfectly aligned. Pump is the native token to Pump.fun, and it's a platform that makes it very easy for anyone to create and launch a token in just a few clicks. What really sets Pump apart right now is that they have a streaming feature. So instead of just launching a token all at once like a typical pre-sale, Pump can let tokens release gradually over time. This kind of adds layers of control, reduces sell pressure, and makes launches smoother. Right now, Pump sits at about 1.6 billion market cap, and I can honestly see a 5x from here. I can see Pump becoming the Twitch for degenerate crypto investors and meme coiners. Next, let's talk about HBAR. What really stood out to me about Hedera is the team and how it's structured. One thing I looked at in every single altcoin on this list is the team. It's important that there are leaders and visionaries in place that can take these assets to the next level. Hedera has strong leadership, and Google and IBM are on their governing council, which adds trust, which benefits Hedera's roadmap towards institutional adoption. Hedera uses something called Hashgraph, which is more like a giant web where all the blocks talk to each other at the same time. That makes it much faster, cheaper, and use less energy. The token HBAR is the fuel that makes everything on Hedera work, and you can use HBAR to pay for stuff on the network, run apps, and reward people for helping keep the system running safely. Overall, a very strong altcoin. Then we have Tau. I never realized it until this 48-hour sabbatical deep dive into altcoins, how much BitTensor is doing in the AI space. I'll break this down with a simple analogy so it's easy for everybody to understand. Imagine the internet is a giant school, and everyone in it is trying to learn new things and get smarter together. Normally, big companies like Google or OpenAI own that classroom. They own the teachers and even the students. They control everything about how AI learns and who gets to use it. But BitTensor changes that. It's like creating a giant open playground for artificial intelligence where anyone in the world can join, teach, or learn and get paid for it. So here's how it works. People around the world connect their computers to BitTensor. Now these computers train AI models, kind of like teaching the network new skills. Now the better your AI teaches or helps the network, the more Tau tokens you earn. That's the reward system. The whole network runs on blockchain. It's fair, open, transparent, and because it's open source, anyone can use what the network learns, kind of like a shared brain that keeps getting smarter as more people join. So to bring this back full circle, BitTensor is building a worldwide decentralized brain powered by people instead of corporations. You earn Tau for helping it grow, and others can pay Tau to access its intelligence. This is probably one of the best use cases of all the altcoins mentioned so far, especially if you're bullish on AI. Next, we have QNT or Quant, which is another altcoin that has great real-world use case. Quant created something called Overledger, which works like a universal connector. Right now, there are hundreds of blockchains, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and more, but they don't naturally talk to each other. Each one has its own world. Quant Overledger connects all of these worlds together so that they can share information like one giant network. Think of it as the internet of blockchains, a bridge that helps them finally understand and work with each other. Some examples of real-world use cases could be a finance app that you can send money from Ethereum to Bitcoin instantly, maybe a hospital record system that could connect patient data from different blockchain databases, or maybe a game could use NFTs from different chains all in one place. That's huge because it connects, which was once separate. To build and run apps on Quant's network, developers need to hold Quant tokens. It's like having the license to access Overledger. So the more developers and companies that use Quant, the more the demand of Quant grows. It's not just a random altcoin. It's a key that unlocks the Quant system. Okay, so after 48 hours locked in this room, diving deep into over hundreds of altcoins, I've cut through the noise and only the ones that I truly believe deserve your attention. I know the recent markets haven't been kind. Confidence is shattered, portfolios bruised, and most people walked away. But that's exactly when opportunities hide in plain sight. When headlines scream, that's when fortunes are quietly being positioned long before the masses return. Buy the fear, sell the news. I didn't pick these altcoins at random. Every single one made it here for a reason. They checked the boxes: real utility, strong teams, good tokenomics, active communities, and liquidity, and they all had a vision for future adoption. These are projects built not just to survive, but to thrive when the market decides to move. These are the altcoins that I'm betting on for the next leg up. And if you hold with conviction while others panic, that's where real gains are made. The choice is yours. Sit on the sidelines and let fear dictate your moves, or step in armed with research, strategy, and patience, ready for the next crypto bull run. These altcoins have the potential to create some of the greatest wealth wealth building opportunities of our lifetime. And remember, this isn't just about making money, it's about being prepared, informed, and ready for when the market finally turns. Lock in, focus, the next chapter of crypto is coming, and you want to be on the right side of it. If you're still watching right now, drop a fire emoji in the comments below, and check out this video next. Thanks for watching.